Good evening. Good evening. This is the New Orleans Talk Network. It's you and your credit. I'm your host, Remus Bowman. Good afternoon. It's Monday. It's 12 o'clock. We're here. Today, we're going back to basics. We're going to give some information that everybody can use to help and assist in getting a good credit score. My number one objective is to help everyone to understand just how a credit report and just how credit scores are derived. But first, you got to do one thing. You've got to get a copy of your credit report. I don't care if it's Credit Karma, or Experian, or just going to freecreditreport.com. Get a copy of your free credit report. The federal law gives you the opportunity to have a free copy of your report at least once a year. You can request all three copies from the different credit bureaus. There's actually, I believe there's 5. But if you don't own a business, more often than not, most lenders are going to use the 3 major credit reporting agencies. Today's topic is you and your credit. And our source is going to be material that I've actually Googled. We're going to talk about interest rates, but we're not going to talk about that first. We're going to give you an opportunity to develop an actual intimate relationship with your credit report. We have to understand that credit reports are breathing. They're live, living parts of our lives. And if you do not pursue this information, it's still going to happen. You know, there's a saying that I use sometimes: if you do nothing, what will change? Well, every day there's a potential for someone to install information on your credit report. Whether you realize it or not, every day you are being that information is being sent to your credit bureaus, and you're being told systematically that either you're creditworthy or you're not. If you're not creditworthy, meaning that that you've been turned down for opportunities to get loans, to buy cars, move into apartments, get a phone, many different things. If you're not creditworthy, that generally means that you do not monitor your credit report, because more often than not, much of the information on your credit report has flaws. More often than not, you can dispute the information and have it get taken off. If you're taken off your report, if you don't pay attention to this, it's still going to happen, one way or the other. Like I said, it's a living part of your life. Whether you systematically monitor it or not, it really doesn't matter. Every day you have a potential of a creditor putting something on your credit report. Let's say, for example, if you had a bill at Cox Cable and you didn't pay the last bill, more than likely, if it's over 60 to 90 days, pull up your credit report, is there. If you have a phone bill with Sprint or one of the other major carriers, Bruce Mobile or whoever, and you signed a contract for, to pay a monthly installment over a period of time, and you got out of that, broke that contract for whatever reason, then within 30 to 90 days, that amount's going to be on your credit report. If you have a student loan and that loan has been transferred from the federal government or from the original creditor, chances are that information is on your credit report. But the thing with student loans is because they easily transfer that information to debt collecting agencies. Sometimes you'll find student loans on your credit report. I've seen them as much as 6 times. Now, the problem is that you should not have to have any obligation on your credit report more than once. Whether you paid it or not, it shouldn't be there more than once. So your objective should be, as these things as this information filters into your credit report, you should be working to manage it. It's a living, breathing part of your life. You've got to take control of it. You've got to manage your credit report. If you don't manage it, I promise you, you'll be deemed less than credit worthy, and you will have to pay high interest rates, and you will not be able to get the car loan or the home that you inspire to get. If you want to alter the direction this information is going in, all you have to do is start paying attention. Or you can hire a guy like me. I represent a company that can help train you. And, the thing is that we are often afraid of information because we haven't been raised in an environment where people talk about this stuff. So consequently, nobody in our family actually communicates about credit because most people have no idea. But my objective is to be the sounding board, to be here, to give you an idea of how to deal with this situation that's very confusing and that keeps most of us on the run. It's unfortunate, but think about it. Would you rather pay high interest rates? Would you rather pay 22, 24%, 26%? I had a company wanting to approve a loan, I believe it was last week, for a young lady at 32% on a used car. Imagine paying 32% interest on a loan. That could be you. But then, too, if you just pay attention and just make this a part of your life, make it a part of your life. My credit score fluctuates depending on my income, on my spending habits, but I pretty much always know what's going on. I can, sometimes I can raise my credit report from a 600 to a 700 within 30 days, and you could do that too. If you only understood what are the factors and how the credit scoring system works. It's time for our first break. We're going to be right back. This is You and Your Credit. Oh, if you want to interact with me, the phone number here is 504-341-8255. Call me, 504-341-8255. This is You and Your Credit. I'm Remus Bowman. We're on Facebook. We're on YouTube. We're all over the place. Come on, man. Talk to me. I got the answer to many of your questions. We'll be right back.
What is New Orleans Talk Network? It's today's hottest topics with an added flair. You get ready because the conversation will be hot. And better yet, mobile. Download the New Orleans Talk Network app, available on Android, iPhone, iPad, and you can listen to us on the web at www.neworleanstalknetwork.com. Write down our talk line at 504-341-TALK. That's 504-341-8255. Interactive and worldwide. That's what we are. Join in on the real conversation and tell a friend about the New Orleans Talk Network.
This is Tanya Free. Are you ready for some football? Former Baltimore Raven Ray Rice has reportedly pledged to donate his entire salary for 2016 to domestic violence prevention programs if given a second chance in the NFL. What's your take? Should Ray Rice get a second chance in the NFL?
The Tanya Free and Friends Talk Show, your destination for the best in social and political straight talk. Wednesdays, 2 p.m. Eastern.
Yo, this is Madman the Big Fan, one of the hosts from FanView on New Orleans Talk Network. Check us out on our new location, Thursdays, 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. And remember, this is not a sports talk show. This is a talk show about sports. Make sure to tune in.
Back. How popular the man.
Are y'all ready for this tea? The New Orleans Talk Network has all the behind-the-scenes info, gossip, and happenings in the world of Hollywood. You gotta tune in to Dishing with Christian on Wednesdays at 7 p.m. on the NewOrleansTalkNetwork.com.
I got all sides in my bag swag.
This is Belinda Parker Brown, President of Louisiana United International. I am the host for A Force for Justice. You can listen to us every Thursday morning at 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. Central, exposing the injustice in our criminal justice system. You can also call in at 504-341-8255 and tell us how you have become a victim in our criminal justice system.
On the New Orleans Talk Network, A Force for Justice with Belinda Parker Brown. Nobody gives you better conversation about your quality of life.
Let everyone know you listen to
the New Orleans Talk Network.
Good evening. This is You and Your Credit with your host, Remus Bowman. I was just reading some motivational material, and I'm gonna pass it on to you, largely because right now we're going through some very difficult times in the state of Louisiana. We had a number of households that flooded out by Baton Rouge. I was watching MTV Awards last night, and I think Beyonce meant to say Baton Rouge, but she said that she was dedicating her award to New Orleans. Thank God that New Orleans hadn't had any hurricanes so far, but there's a very good possibility that there may be a hurricane by the end of the week. I think it's by Thursday. We'll probably know what the determination is going to be. But this is Katrina time of year. Today is the anniversary of Katrina. Excuse me, I think it's either today or tomorrow. So 11 years ago, in the state of Louisiana, in New Orleans, we had the experience of having the most devastating hurricane to ever hit the state of Louisiana and wipe out pretty much the entire South. It was a terrible thing, but I can honestly tell you, and I spoke with a few people from the Baton Rouge area last week, and one lady, I sit down in my office and I had a conversation with her, and I said, "Let me tell you something." I said, "We can get through this stuff, man. All you got to do is have faith and be prepared. Prior planning prevents poor performance." I was thinking this morning as I was getting ready for work. I was like, well, let me make sure I got all my ducks in a row. Well, see, that's my advocacy to you. Get your ducks in a row. There's a possibility that it's hurricane season. There's a possibility of you taking a loss. Are you preparing yourself for that loss? Do you have an idea of what the anniversary dates of your different debts are? Do you know when your credit card company reports to the credit bureaus? Do you know when your automobile your automobile payment is due, so that you don't, if at all possible, end up with a negative credit rating as a result of being displaced as a result of a flood or a hurricane? This information is the most valuable information that you can have, because what happens is when you're on top of things, then you can plan a way out. Prior planning prevents poor performance. But anyway, back to what I was about to read. This was shared with me sometime back by, in fact, this is interesting. This was shared with me on December 8th, 2014 by one of my sales managers over at Toyota New Orleans. And I'm going to read the whole thing. And it says, I'm looking forward to this week. It's a busy time of the year. This month will fly by. I hope to give you some encouragement today to keep working hard. This year is almost over. We're in the home stretch. Think about it. We're at August. Today is August the 6th, 7th, 8th. Today is August the 29th. Now, I normally don't call out dates on my shows because I don't like to date them. But today is August the 29th. We were preparing 11 years ago for Katrina. And, of course, on August 30th is when she came ashore and virtually destroyed the state of Louisiana. It's not about being the best. It's about being better than you were yesterday. Think about it. If most people are afraid to look at their credit reports, and, you know, my job and my objective is to give you the courage so that you'll undertake this, that you'll look at it, that you'll learn about it, that it'll be something that will become a part of your daily ritual. It'll be something that, if not every day, periodically, once or twice a month. Because I'm an advocate for this information, for people doing this. I frequently have people who come into the dealership, excuse me, who come into the dealership that I've taught how to improve their credit scores, and I'm seeing it more and more and more every day. What was it? 2 weeks ago, I had a lady. She's a nurse. She came in. 2 years ago, about a year or so ago, she had a very low credit score. I helped her learn how to do her own credit. And just last week, she came in and completed the contract on a $40,000 Toyota Highlander. And she walks in, she came in to see me, I believe it was Friday or Saturday, and she said, "Remus, I want to tell you something. This is the car I always wanted. I'm so happy right now. I can't tell you how happy I am." Think about it. We all set goals for ourselves. Do you have a goal, or do you just want to swim in the pool of mediocrity? Just settling for whatever's out there. But to go further, life shrinks and expands in proportion with one's courage. If your courage, or if your need, or your freedom to obtain information about things that are very important to your lifestyle, to you having a good financial situation in your household, if you'll undertake just going in, getting on your phone. Everybody has iPhones or Androids. Just pull up Credit Karma. Just pull up Experian. Pull up freecreditreport.com. Get a copy. You may not understand completely how to read it, but I can help you. If you'll contact me, you can give me a call or send me your information on Facebook or on one of the other venues that we're involved with, YouTube or Instagram. Just send me your information, Twitter. I promise you, I'll call you back. I'll contact you, and we'll go over it with you, and I'll teach you how to read the information. This is something that's going to help you in a long haul. If once you learn this, then you'll never have a problem with your credit again, because it won't take you by surprise. I come in contact with most people who have different expressions, and those expressions I can read on their face, and most of those expressions are surprise, disappointment, and fear. Number one is fear. I don't know how many times I've had people that I've come in contact with that have, because of the situation, not being able to get a car or for whatever other reason, I've seen so many people start bawling. I mean, tears coming from their eyes because they've fallen into an adverse situation. Imagine if you do not do anything, then nothing will change. All right, we're going to go on to number 3. So success is liking yourself, liking what you do, and liking how you do it. That's Maya Angelou, by the way. Now, imagine if you don't take the time to learn how to read a credit report I don't care how much money you make. There are so many people that make $60,000, $80,000, $100,000 a year. I had a dental hygienist come in my office Saturday with her mother. This lady's already made almost $50,000 this year. She makes very good money. Now you tell me, somebody that's already made 50 grand this year, would you think they'd have a low credit score? But they do. Smart people don't take the time to learn this are very often in the same situation as people. When I say smart people, I mean people with educations, not people that are not don't have the ability to learn, because everybody can learn this. You can teach animals to use tools, so you can teach a person to do this one simple task that's very important to their life. It's the biggest issue with most of us is once we get that car or we got that house or we got that job, once we've obtained the thing that we've set out to obtain, now we want to take a break. We don't want to do the things that is going to get us to the better part of lifestyle that we work so hard for. We leave this part of it out. And that's the whole idea of me doing this show. I'm trying to tell you, look, you need to include this in what you do every day. You need to take this on. If you have a question for me, direct it to me at Remus Bowman on Facebook, Remus Bowman on the New Orleans Talk Network. I'm waiting for your, you can text me, New Orleans Talk Network.com. You can download our app and interact with the show. We're going to be here all the time. This show's been on for about 2 years now, and I love doing it. I've seen so many success stories. As a matter of fact, I was going to have a lady on today. I asked her, but I think she probably said, I think she said she was going to be busy because she works for herself. And when you work for yourself, you got to do everything you can to make it, to pay the bills, man. But this particular lady has already gotten a new car, and 3 months later, she bought a new house. But when I first met her, she was a 400 Beacon score. And this was within 1 year. Now she's living a great life. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to the next statement, and it says, don't let the noise of others' opinion drown out your own inner voice. And that's Steve Jobs. So if you're watching this show and you know what your credit score looks like, you have an idea, and you want to improve that, don't be sidetracked. Get on board. In fact, on Facebook, I have a V card. That V card gives you immediate access to me. If you'll go to Remus Bowman on Facebook, you'll see the V card. I also manage a website called FES Credit Restoration. You can do the V card right there. If you go on that V card, put your information in, you can send that information to me. Ask me your questions after the show 24/7, and I promise you I'll get back to you. But someplace, if you do nothing, nothing will change. The next statement is, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go with others. In other words, think about it. If you want to go fast, you don't need anybody. You want to go a short distance, bam, there you go. If you want to go a long ways, you got to have the education and training to take on information that you may or may not be familiar with. So as a result, if you're going to do that, just go ahead and let the experiences of others and the knowledge of others be incorporated into the things that you need from them. And therefore, you can benefit, or you can do the research on your own, using others as a backdrop. And last but not least, a tiger doesn't lose sleep over the opinion of the sheep. Because guess what, Mr. Sheep, that tiger's going to eat you. You look like something. You look like a good meal, and that tiger's got to eat. So therefore, you have to sacrifice your life for someone else's betterment. It's time for our second break. Excuse me. This is not the best weather ever. As a result, I'm a little my voice is a little scratchy. I'm a little uncomfortable, but we're gonna get through it anyway. Got any questions? Call me at 504-341-8255 or hit me up on Facebook. This is Remus Bowman. It's You and Your Credit. We're on the New Orleans Talk Network.
Happy Merry Mondays. It's your girl, Mary J. I want you to tune in with me to Real Talk with Mary J on New Orleans Talk Network every Monday morning at 10 a.m. Then follow me to blogtalkradio.com/Real Talk with Mary J at 10 p.m. It's going to be a Merry Monday every Monday at 10 a.m. and 10 p.m. You've just tuned in to New Orleans Talk Network.
At Jones Insurance, we find that peace of mind offers a real advantage. That is why we work hard to make things easier for you by protecting your cars, your homes, your businesses, and your life. Peace of mind, isn't that the best protection? Learn what insurance can do for you. Call your agent at 504-348-1492 or visit us at 7603 West Bank Expressway, Marrero, Louisiana.
Are you looking for an alternative to conservative? Real Brother Radio is now on New Orleans Talk Network every day, 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. New Orleans Talk Network. We provide the topics, you provide the conversation.
This is Tanya Free. Are you ready for some football? Former Baltimore Raven Ray Rice has reportedly pledged to donate his entire salary for 2016 to domestic violence prevention programs if given a second chance in the NFL. What's your take? Should Ray Rice get a second chance in the NFL?
The Tanya Free and Friends Talk Show, your destination for the best in social and political straight talk. Wednesdays, 2 p.m. Eastern.
Listen up. Your customers, our listeners, could be hearing about your business right now. Yeah, right now. Don't miss out on the opportunity to advertise with NewOrleansTalkNetwork.com. Call our business department today at 504-475-4793 to hear about our great rates. NewOrleansTalkNetwork.com. We provide the people, you provide the business.
Nobody gives you better conversation about your quality of life.
Let everyone know you listen to
The New Orleans Talk Network.
We're back. It's the New Orleans Talk Network. I'm your host for You and Your Credit, Remus Bowman. If you'd like to interact with the show, we're virtually on all the media, all the different forms of media. And you can call in 504-341-8255. And now down to the nuts and bolts of how a credit report how credit score is determined. This is probably the most important segment of the show today. If you have a pen or pencil, I'd appreciate it if you write this information down, primarily because if you know this, then you're moving in the right direction. if you just have this information that I'm about to give now, it's going to help you to understand everything else. It'll make things more simple. So what we're going to do is we're going to give you the different percentages that the credit reporting agencies use to determine your credit score. It's very valuable information. Most people, they create all different. Man, I've been around the car business for a long time. I remember a guy actually walking up to me and saying, he said, I think that people in different zip codes have better credit scores than others. Now that's from a federal standpoint, that's illegal. That's redlining. That's saying that a person that lives in an affluent neighborhood has a better credit score than a person that lives in a poor neighborhood based on the zip code. That's not fair. That wouldn't be fair to anyone, would it? Think about it. If I gave you a better credit score just because of where you live, then you're not living by the same rules that everybody else has to. It would appear to me that a person that would be more affluent would have an easier way to keep the reins on the credit score than a person that had lower income, because a person with more money has a greater potential to eliminate collection accounts. Although what we fail to understand is that everybody goes through highs and lows in their income. From month to month, people get sick. People have family members get sick. They're got to pay taxes. We got all different kinds of adverse situations that come in our lives. But if we don't prepare for them, then consequently, what will happen is they're going to affect you adversely on your credit report. All right, let's start. This is we're going to take one of the lower percentages. 10% of your credit report is the different types of credit that you have. You could have an auto, a home, a credit card. Now, most people don't realize this, but credit cards, because they're revolving, has a tendency to increase your credit score faster. So if you have a credit card and you monitor the anniversary date and you pay off that credit card or pay it down to at least 33% or 30% every month prior to the anniversary date, then it's going to make your credit score go up rapidly. Automobile and your home are stated contracts. So, the worst thing that can happen is if you miss the payment and you're over 30 days late. But if you just pay the contract as agreed, it doesn't affect you adversely at all. But it does affect you if you do not pay it as agreed. And also, we're going to get down to the next rationalization that the credit bureaus use is your payment history. So again, back to what I just said. If you fail to miss, and that payment history is 35%. So the different types of credit, revolving or otherwise, is 10%. Payment history is 35%. So if you make your payments as they're due, and you're not outside of the amount that specifically on your credit cards, if you're not outside of the amount that is owed, that is your line of credit, then it doesn't adversely affect you. And in fact, it will have a tendency to increase your credit score. So if you have a $300, $500, $1,000 credit card, you don't want that credit card to display an amount above the amount of the line of credit that's been given. If it does, then it adversely affects you. If it's less than 30% or 35%, then it positively affects you. If you just make the payments as stated, then you don't get a bounce. It just stays flat. So, because the revolving charge is something that is renewable every month. In other words, think about it. You get, every month you can renew that credit card. You can pay it off and renew it. Pay it off and renew it. The objective is to pay it off prior to the anniversary date or the date that credit card is reported to the credit reporting agencies. If you do that, then you'll be affected positively on your credit report. If you fail to do that, then it will adversely affect you. Also, if you pay your credit card after the anniversary date, then the credit card company can charge you a high interest, and they can also charge you fees. And you'll see that occur in many cases with different credit cards. If you pay again, I hope you have a pencil. If you pay after the reporting date or the anniversary date on the credit card, you have that every month. If you pay prior to, then you don't pay the interest on it. You do not pay interest on the amount of the card that is not being financed. So if you're not paying interest on the amount that's being financed, the financing happens on the date of the anniversary date of the card. You see how it works? You see how that works? If the anniversary date, I'm going to go over this again because it can be complicated. I'm going to go over this again. If the anniversary date's on the first of the month, so on that date, then your interest payments, the interest charges are incurred, and any fees are incurred. So if your card is above the amount of the credit card balance that you've been given, then those three things adversely affect you. If your credit card is at 33% or less, and a payment has been made, then you're not being charged interest on that other 66%, as well as so you're not being charged interest on an amount that you're not using at the date of the anniversary date of the card. So consequently, your interest payments on that card is going to be lower, and you're not charged any additional fees, and it doesn't adversely affect your credit report. All right, let's move on. The third factor, and it's again at 30%, it's the amount of credit that you have. A lot of times, your credit will be based on the amount of credit that you have, because you always have an amount that you can easily afford versus based on your income versus getting outside of your ability to pay. So, banks will often, if you're looking for an automobile, that kind of thing, and a lot of people do that, especially given the situation that may be occurring and the situation that's occurring in the Baton Rouge area, and people need to understand this. That's one of the reasons why people will not be given a second loan without being able to prove that the original second loan on the automobile, without being able to prove that the original automobile that they were trying to replace was deemed a total loss and being paid off by the insurance company or by some other source. So consequently, what banks try to do is they try to keep you within a certain debt ratio. In other words, they don't want you to have more debt than you're capable of paying. Not very long ago, I told a story of a young lady who came into the dealership and she had like 10 credit cards. I'm like, Jesus Christ, what are you doing? All your income's been absorbed by these credit cards. So consequently, what happened is it was difficult to find a lender, even though she had a very good credit score, because her debt to income ratio was out of whack. Now she wants to increase the obligation by an additional amount. So the amount of credit is 30% of the amount that the credit bureaus will use in order to determine your credit score. It's time for our final break. We're going to take another pause for a word of the cause, and we're going to be right back.
Culture at 1601 Plaza Drive in Marrero, always delivering the best food for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. There's a reason why people keep returning to Wags. The food's always hot, great portions, and it's just down home good. Call ahead to order in advance at 504-348-3080. That's 504-348-3080. And let Larry know that you heard about Wags on the New Orleans Talk Network. Call him now. Wags Food and Culture at 1601 Plaza Drive in Marrero.
This is Captain Black.
This is Brother Al Mims. Join us for our new show,
The Hostages That Fight Back, Wednesdays at 10 a.m. Central.
We are all hostages to something.
But it's up to us
to find the courage to fight back and make the change.
So tune in to become the change you want to see in the world, here on New Orleans Talk Network.
Brothers and sisters! Brothers and sisters! I don't know what this world is coming to.
Listen up. Your customers, our listeners, could be hearing about your business right now. Yeah, right now. Don't miss out on the opportunity to advertise with NewOrleansTalkNetwork.com. Call our business department today at 504-475-4793 to hear about our great rates. NewOrleansTalkNetwork.com. We provide the people, you provide the business.
Bethesda House of Prayer. Bethesda is a church for non-traditional worshipers, a church designed for those who love God's word. Would you like to attend a church where believers and non-believers can choose to worship together? A church where cultural differences does not get in the way of God's message. We invite you to be our special guest. Our services begin 9 a.m. on Sunday, located at 7601 West Bank Expressway, Suite B, Marrero, Louisiana. For more information, contact us at 504-348-0132.
Hi, I'm Linda Lewis, Director of Armstrong Family Services. I'm here to remind you that anyone can become homeless, even you. Armstrong Family Services is a nonprofit organization that serves families in crisis. We focus on keeping homeless families together. Post-Katrina, we have helped over 1,000 families. Now we need your help. For more information, please call 504-899-2995. Thank you!
New morning show alert. New morning show alert. The Warren Ballantyne Show airs daily from 9 to 11 a.m. Central Time, bringing you the news you need to know. The Warren Ballantyne Show, now on the New Orleans Talk Network.
Nobody gives you better conversation about your quality of life.
Let everyone know you listen to
The New Orleans Talk Network.
We're back. It's the New Orleans Talk Network. I'm your host, Remus Bowman, and it's you and your credit. I've been giving out some very important information. I hope everybody's had an opportunity to write it down. Remember, type of credit, 10%, payment history, 35, amount of credit, amount of total credit is 30%. Now we're going to go to the amount of new credit. If you're out and you're making loans, now a lot of banks will notice that when they pull the credit report. By the way, can you hang on just a second? We have a caller. Hello.
Yes.
Good afternoon. How are you doing today, sir?
Man, every day's good. It's a little overcast in the H-Town. I think we'll get a little rain today.
Oh God, it's raining all over the world. It's
Hey
raining.
man, I
all
turn
over.
my water sprinkler system off and keep moving.
Let Jesus do it, brother.
Hey man, you can't mess with Mother Nature.
How are you enjoying the show?
Hey man, I'm loving it. Man, you're giving out great information, and if people apply the information, it'll help them. You know, information is only good as applied.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And what I suggest you do is leave it to the expert. Call Mr. Remus Bowman, email Mr. Remus Bowman, Facebook Mr. Remus Bowman, Twitter Mr. Remus Bowman, just Mr. Remus Bowman, and get the service.
You know, one of the biggest problems I have is that because most people, large percentage of people don't truly understand the theories, you know, that this information, you know, and how this stuff works, how it all comes together. And then when you try to put them on a path, you almost have to take them from point A to point B, you know, because if, you know, and that's what I decided to do today, is to go back and start with the basis. You know, if you can start with the beginning on how things are developed, then maybe people will understand that they could really overcome the adversity. We're about to, you know, we have a potential of going to having a hurricane in Louisiana again this week. You know, all I'm saying is I can't, even if you can't start a program from a financial standpoint, at least have the information, pull up your credit file, get the information you need to start something. If you do nothing, nothing's going to change. Last week, I sent out some of my V cards to a lot of my old customers and some of, you know, some potential cards, customers on Facebook and on Twitter and that kind of thing. And people were actually contacting me, and you know, even customers that had gotten up, fallen by the wayside on the program, contacted me and said, "Man, I've been wanting to get back in this program for a while." You know, I contacted virtually everyone. You know, and I have literally hundreds of people that I've worked with over the last 2 years. And you know, it's been an interesting ride, man. It's been good. And people were like, "Man, can I, you know, how do I get back in this program?" And I'm like, you start here. Just put your information on the V card. It'll come to me, and we're gonna get you started. We'll find a way to get you back on track. We already have your information. If anything, nothing's just changed, and we're gonna get you. You know, gonna get you going, man. Got to get you going. This is a very serious time. Very serious time. George, let me.
Once you tell everyone that they can get a free credit report, then they bring the credit report to you, and you do a little consultation and give some guidance from there.
Absolutely. You can get free credit reports on freecreditreport.com. You can get free credit reports at Experian. You can get free credit reports from what's the name of that company? You know, Credit Karma. I mean, you know, there's so many. You can go on your cell phone and just Google free credit reports, and you'll get a whole list of different places that'll give you a free credit report. All this stuff is sponsored by the feds. We have absolutely no excuse for not having a copy of our credit report if we really want one. And if you need one and you're having problems pulling it up, stop by Toyota New Orleans, ask for me, and I'll be happy to assist you in getting one. You know, if you need a car, if you need a car or you need assistance on how to purchase a vehicle, or if there's any other information I can help you with, I'm at the Toyota New Orleans in New Orleans East every day, Monday through Saturday. But anyway, let's get back to our final two ways that the credit reporting agencies determine your credit score. And our time is just about up, so I'm going to have to do this quickly. The final way is the amount of new credit. So what happens is if you're out and you're applying for a lot of new credit, then at some point the next lender or potential lender is going to see that. They're going to see that. Let's say you get a good score and you go out and you want to splurge, man. You want to buy a couple of cars, a couple of houses, or whatever, and things kind of get out of whack. Well, see, more often than not, what happens is this kind of activity alarms banks, because especially if you don't have a history of making a lot of different purchases, then it will alarm them. But if you're still doing, staying within your normal behavior patterns, and you're buying a car, your other car is paid off, or it's time to buy a house or whatever, then it won't alert anybody. So, but the different types of credit is very important, and it's a 10% factor in the it's a 10% factor in how your credit score is determined. Last but not least, the length of time that you have in your credit bureau, the length of credit history. So maybe I should have done this first. And the length of credit history is 15%. So let's go a fast recap because we're almost at the end. Length of credit history, 15%. Amount of new credit, 10%. Amount of total credit is 30%. Payment history is 35%. Different types of credit is 10%. That's 100% of the pie. Those are the factors that your different credit reporting agencies use to determine your credit score. It's been wonderful. I hope that you've written this information down, and I'll recap real quick while I got just a minute. It's just about time for the show to end. But we're going to take it from the bottom up. Length of credit history. Length of time of your credit history is number 15, 15%. Amount of new credit is 10%. Total amount of credit is 30%. Payment history is 35%. Payment type, different types of credit, auto, home, credit cards, that kind of thing, is 10%. So you can see that that's 100% of how your credit score is derived. Now, next week, what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about the credit files and how to read them so that you'll understand them. So you want to tune into the show, and you want to have your friends tune into the show, because it's going to be very important. We're going to take the guesswork out. We're going to let you know how to improve your credit score. If you need help, we have a great company that we represent. It's called United Financial Services. They've been around for 12 years. They're a great company, very inexpensive product. It's only $87 a month. You don't sign a contract. You stay in as little time as you want to. You can get in 1 month and get out. I need a little checkup on my credit. Got a couple of things that I think we can get off real quick. Spend the $87, get out. Not a big problem. But if you do nothing, nothing will change. This is You and Your Credit. I'm your host, Remus Bowman, and this is the New Orleans Talk Network.